We're now going to move to House File 921. That is Representative Baker is at the committee. Would someone like to move that for the committee?
Move, Mr. Chair.
Representative Hertaz moves House File 921 be laid over for possible inclusion in the House Omnibus Tax Bill. Representative Baker, welcome to the committee. Thank you for being here and thank you for bringing this important bill forward.
Mr. Chair and members, thank you very much for allowing us to talk about this important bill. I've got a couple of ideas that we're working on this year to really help our hospitality industry that's been just devastated, as so many of you know, just looking at the headlines with our past 11, 12 months, we could have never imagined this. What this bill does today, members, is we've got a couple of different ideas that do small steps that make our industry better for the long haul so that we don't continue to hear how the restaurant industry is such a high probability of failure early on when you start opening up these dream jobs and you've always wanted to open up an eatery or try your culinary skills at something, and these little things that we can do in this committee will mean a lot to folks down the road. Just generally, Mr. Chair, what this does, and I'm going to turn this over to our testifiers. This bill will allow a tax exemption, a sales tax exemption on any purchases while you're creating products and food in a kitchen, just like you are seeing now in manufacturing opportunities and things like that. This has been tried before. This year especially, we need to have this sales tax exemption when, again, a restaurant operator like myself in the past would buy a new oven, a new deep fryer, a new reach-in cooler, stainless steel that is so expensive in our kitchens. We need to keep those updated and we need to reinvest in these things. The money that could be saved by this could actually just get turned over, having better quality food and more money for other things in our operation. And also, members, this also includes a clawback a little bit for the beginning of March 1st of 2020. So restaurants that spent money during the COVID expansion for plexiglass, for things related to health metrics to keep our customers safe, would be able to apply for a refund during that period of time. That is an open window for about a little less than 2 years. So through this year, 2021, if we're continuing to spend money, those sales tax exemptions would apply as well, that maybe have already been purchased by these operations. So that's generally what this is. And my final comment is we've got a little more tweaking to do on this bill. As you all know, we got really kind of backlogged with bills in the revisor's office. We've got to work on some amendments and some clarity for what the exemptions will be with the Department of Revenue. So I'm coming to you, Mr. Chair, with a real commitment to later this week, we're going to get that clarified to you so we have, I think, a better and more clear fiscal note on this is what it's going to cost. We want to make sure we get more details, and so we'll be working with the Department of Revenue and stakeholders as we move this bill along. So I'm committed to that, Mr. Chair, and with that, I'll allow you to turn it over to my testifiers and we stand for questions. Thank you.
Thank you very much, Representative Baker. And first testifier is Ben Wogsland, and then we have Eric Forsberg. Mr. Wogsland.
Thank you, Mr. Chair and members and staff. My name is Ben Wogsland. I'm the Director of Government Relations for Hospitality Minnesota. We represent Minnesota's restaurants and other hospitality businesses. Just by way of background, Minnesota state law currently provides sales tax exemptions for manufacturing equipment used to produce products that are then resold and taxed at the point of sale. And our members, restaurants, manufacture meals, which are then sold to the customer and taxed at the point of sale. My understanding of the history of this is that in the early 90s, in order to address a budget crisis, restaurant equipment was excluded at that point from the capital equipment sales tax exemption. There really wasn't any tax policy reason for that change. It was to try to address the budget. Our understanding is that food service businesses are really the only category of manufacturers required to pay the sales tax on their equipment purchases. So this is a matter of fairness, and we think it's smart policy for the state to help this industry. As Representative Baker said, the bill does two things. It would help restaurants now by helping them have a sales tax exemption from equipment purchases that they had to make here to respond to COVID during the crisis, things like barriers or some things dealing with PPE or air quality or things of that nature. but it also is going to help with the recovery for this industry, which is severely needed in that by carving out sales tax exemption for these equipment purchases, which are necessary for these businesses, it's going to help them recover faster. And it's one tool in the toolbox that you can use. I know I've already testified in front of this committee before about the pain in this industry. I know you all know it well, but I'm going to leave you with two stats that I think sum up the need for this industry. Number one, according to a Federal Reserve survey that we did with the Fed here in December, 50% of restaurants are on the verge of financial collapse here in Minnesota. And we've lost 120,000 jobs in the last year in the hospitality sector, the vast majority of those in restaurants. Normally, we're 1 in 10 jobs in Minnesota. So it's critical that we recover and get those jobs back. These businesses have been, either closed or significantly hampered in revenue all year by COVID. But the bills have continued to pile up, whether that's rent or mortgage or utilities, insurance, vendors, taxes. None of those have stopped. And so these folks have done everything that they can and within their ability to help keep their fellow Minnesotans safe. And now, as we try to recover, they're going to be digging out from a really deep hole. And if you talk to them, they'll tell you that they really need all of our help to do that. And this is really, we think, unfortunately, is going to be a multi-year recovery. So this bill can be one tool that will help with that. Restaurants need to spend thousands of dollars per year in equipment just to maintain their business. This is not even including expansions or renovations. And we feel that this manufacturing equipment should not be taxed, just like it's not in other industries. So I'll leave it there. I'm open for questions after the other testifiers, but thank you, Mr. Chair, members and staff, for letting me talk to you today.
Mr. Wogsland, thank you so much. Any questions for Mr. Wogsland? All right, thank you. Mr. Forsberg and then Mr. Bone to follow.
Mr. Chair.
I'm sorry, Representative McDonald.
Yeah, sorry, I wasn't quite quick enough in hitting the hand. I have a question for the last testifier from Hospitality, Minnesota. Maybe if he is familiar with the suit that the Leon Chins filed against Minnesota a number of years ago, maybe he could share that with the committee.
Mr. Wogsland.
I am not familiar with that exact lawsuit, but I'm happy to get back to you, Representative McDonald.
Okay.
Representative McDonald.
Mr. Chair, then if I could briefly just share, a number of years ago, Leon Chins did sue the state of Minnesota, saying that they are a manufacturing company, they manufacture food. Since many of our manufacturers in our state are tax exempt on their capital improvements, including farms and many manufacturers. So Leon Chins did file a lawsuit against the state of Minnesota, stating that they do manufacture food. Guess what? They won the case. So the law should have been changed many years ago. I thank Representative Baker for bringing this bill forward. I had the bill a couple of years ago and will continue to support it. It's the least we could do in this very hard economic times. But just remember, the lawsuit was filed, they won. Yet the state of Minnesota dug their feet in the ground and at that time didn't change the law. So they are a manufacturing company. They should have the same benefits that all the other manufacturers that we say is important to us in the state of Minnesota, that provide jobs and manufacture important things such as good food for our state. That's my editorial for today.
Thank you very much. We're going to move to Mr. Forsberg. Welcome to the committee.
Chair. Thank you, Mr. Chair, and thank you, members, for allowing me to testify today. My name is Eric Forsberg. I'm a restaurateur in mostly downtown Minneapolis, as well as some in greater Minnesota and the Rogers area in particular. I own Devil's Advocate, Dan Kelly's, Eric the Rat in downtown Minneapolis, and represent Broadway Pizza with Rogers. So this has been an ongoing, as you've heard, subject we've dealt with for a number of years, and obviously none of us really expected to have happen what has happened in this last year. We've spent, to just put some hard numbers to it for you, earlier on we invested in a lot of the PPP or the PPE, equipment to try and reopen our restaurants as soon as we could, as soon as there were some restrictions lifted in June. For each restaurant, on average, we were spending about $1,800 in regular just barriers and equipment to try and refurb our restaurants. In addition, we put in ionizers, which on an average are about $10,000 each. Now, this is over and above what we spend for the manufacturing of our products, so understand that. That comes to an average of for my stores across the board, about $6,000 in just sales tax revenue that we were spending to get the 3 stores up and running downtown. So, and to work to the input objects, again, a little bit of education piece here is think of an oven that we would bake bread in to make sandwiches. If I put that in my restaurant, and I spend $10,000 in an oven, which I have to repurchase typically every 3 to 5 years, mind you. I'm going to pay sales tax for downtown is 8.025%. If I were to just go to the bay next door in my restaurant and open a bakery that makes bread, I can buy that same oven and I'm sales tax exempt. So understanding that restaurants actually are manufacturing facilities and that we take a raw material and we produce a finished good and we sell it with a taxable item to the end user, it's just done in a very different environment because it's a very fast-paced environment. We're doing it in 20 minutes versus doing it over the course of days or weeks or months in some cases. So understanding again, as you've heard some people say, this isn't the silver bullet that's going to save my industry by any means. But it is a brick in the road to recovery, and that road to recovery we really do predict to be 3 to 5 years. Also understanding being in downtown Minneapolis with restrictions as well as some of the social unrest we've had. I've had 3 of my restaurants that were vandalized and or looted. So much of that equipment that I've already purchased once, I actually have to repurchase again because much of it was damaged beyond the point of repair, and we have to make it from scratch again in order to reopen. We've not reopened downtown since last year, and we hope to reopen now with restrictions lifted, and hopefully we're starting to see more traffic in the downtown area again sometime soon, hopefully sooner than later. But it would be using something like this as, like I said, a brick on the path to recovery matters. It's not the whole road, but it is definitely a part of it. And I think it's not only fair, it's helpful to my industry. So thank you for the opportunity to speak, and I'm open to any questions.
Mr. Forsberg, thank you so much. Any questions? If not, Mr. Bone. Mr. Bone, I think you're muted still. If you welcome
Of course,
to the committee and identify yourself. Thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Chair, for directing me how to use Zoom. My name is Tony Bowen. I'm the Director of Operations for Grandma's Restaurant Company. This year marks our 45th year in business that began in Canal Park here in Duluth, Minnesota. And we have had a pretty good run. And through those years, we've employed tens of thousands of employees, from high school kids to single moms to grandparents. And many have stuck with us, like myself. I'm in my 35th year, having started as a busboy. And many have moved on to make their marks in the world in other endeavors. That said, we're all one family, or Gramily, and we share many memories and traditions. Before 2020, we employed 400 to 600 team members who we hope to continue those traditions and carry forward fond memories. Unfortunately, this past year, we lost many employees as we were forced to close our doors, and our customers have not quite felt ready for the dining out experience within our 4 walls completely yet. It's going to take a lot of work for us to claw back and adapt to the new realities of guest expectations for dining out. It's going to come with tremendous cost to infrastructure, menu redevelopment, and efficiency standards. As it stands, pre-pandemic, looking back at the last 10 years, and just simply keeping up with replacing equipment, we spend about $10,000 per year per store on those expenditures. And we anticipate much larger needs as we move forward to adapt to the new world. While Representative Baker's bill may not be the be-all end-all solution, it certainly will be quite helpful as we begin to dig out and start over, because that's what we're doing. That's what all restaurateurs are doing. I'm asking you to get us back to where we used to be, and back to where all other manufacturers of consumer goods are, and reinstate the tax exemption on the purchase of equipment restaurants use to manufacture food and drinks for our guests, who are in turn, as you know, taxed once again. In the state, city, and county, already get 11.125% on our food purchases and 13.58% on liquor purchases here in Duluth. So we're contributing. I just thank Representative Baker for bringing this forward. And I want to thank you for allowing me to speak with you, and hope to see you all up in Duluth sometime this summer.
Mr. Bone, thank you so much for your testimony. Representative Robbins.
Thank you, Mr. Chair. Thank you, Representative Baker. I know how hard you're working on this and all the other issues. So thank you for bringing this bill forward, for working with the hospitality industry. And I just wanted to greet Mr. Forsberg. I have Rogers in my district, and the Broadway pizza is a staple of gathering in our community, and great food as always. So nice to see you in committee, sir.
Thank you very much, Representative Robbins. All right, move to the next testifier, Beth Kadoun. Ms. Kadoun, welcome to the committee.
Thank you, Mr. Chair, members of the committee. My name is Beth Kadoun. I represent the Minnesota Chamber of Commerce. Our top goal for this legislative session is economic recovery, and we are in support of Representative Baker's bill, as we believe this is a great way to help some of the hardest hit industries by providing this immediate tax relief on the sales tax purchases they've already made, that they may just prevent the spread of COVID-19 and help keep their businesses open, and also providing ongoing tax relief by reducing their costs when they're upgrading and investing in their Minnesota operations. This builds on good tax policy, as was mentioned, that's been supported on a strong bipartisan basis in the past to eliminate the sales tax on business inputs with sales tax exemption on their capital equipment. When businesses pay taxes on their input, the cost of production rises and those costs get built into the price of the product. This results in tax pyramiding, and the tax is assessed multiple times during the production cycle, and that ultimately gets passed along to the consumer. So we really urge your support of this hard-hit industry, and I'll be happy to stand for any questions. Thank you.
Thank you very much, Ms. Kadoun. And before we move to questions and comments for Representative Baker or others, just the revenue estimate, what we have right now, and I know Representative Baker has said there's some tweaks to be made, and we still have time to do that, certainly. But right now, the revenue note is at $26.5 million in this biennium and $17.0 million into the next biennium. So, members, questions for the author of the bill, Representative Baker. Okay, I don't see any. Representative Baker.
Again, Mr. Chair and members, I know that this tax committee always has to deal with a whole bunch of priorities that comes down to really at the end of the day, where these all land. And I just really implore and really ask this committee and the chair and leadership to look hard at this bill. This is the year of any years to try to make this one a real high priority for our industry. Again, there's some really good logic to why we are asking for this ask today. Again, Mr. Chair, I'm going to get the amendment right. I'll be meeting with the Department of Revenue to get the fiscal thing very tweaked up and very firmed up so we know what this is going to look like. I can't tell you enough how much I've appreciated working with Hospitality Minnesota and others that are working on the roadmap to recovery. Other committees are working hard to address the whole business climate here in Minnesota. And I think we all hope we're certainly on the back end of a horrible year, and we want to get there. We've got some really good ideas that I think are close to getting us out of this situation, so our business people can be working hard and fighting back like they do so well in our industry. You know, seeing Mr. Forsberg and Mr. Bowen from those operations, and again, having a restaurant myself for 18 years, I know the challenges of this thing. And this is a very important bill that will go on for a very, very, very long time. And this is what we need to do. So I just can't thank you enough. And again, I want to thank my colleague, Representative McDonald, for carrying this bill in the past. I hope I can get across the finish line. It's one more thing I can spike the ball in front of him with. If this happens to work out this year, I always like to get that in with with Representative McDonald if I can. So Mr. Chair, thank you once again.
Representative Baker, you used Representative McDonald's name, and I know he had his hand up earlier. So Representative McDonald. Oh, you are muted, Representative McDonald.
Oh, that doesn't happen much.
I said, whoops, you did it again, Representative Baker. Thank you, Mr. Chair. No, good job. Thank you, Representative Baker, for bringing this forward. And Mr. Chair, I certainly will hope that we can keep this in or get this into the omnibus tax bill for some relief for our restaurateurs. But a quick question, Winston, quiet. Sorry, my dog. quick question for Representative Baker. In the bill that I had last year, we had crafted it with also a portion of the bill that would allow restaurants not to have to pay sales tax on items that they give their employees. Employees, when they have purchased food and or even given food or beverages, they have to pay sales tax on that. So would you consider an amendment next time you bring the bill forward?
Representative Baker.
Mr. Chair and Representative McDonald, I'd be happy to look at that. That's a real cost again to businesses. If we could save them a few bucks that way, I would love an opportunity to work with you on an amendment that we're going to continue to work on, obviously, with this bill as well. So I would wholeheartedly welcome a friendly amendment like that, Representative McDonald. Thank you.
Representative McDonald.
Good. Thank you, Mr. Chair. Thank you, Mr. Representative Baker. We'll do that. We'll work on that because real quickly, so a restaurant oftentimes will give their employees some discounted food or even some free food and beverages, and yet they have to still pay sales tax on that, even though they gave it away. Now, it's a small percentage, certainly, but it's kind of a slap in the face in a way. You think about it, that here they're giving away their food for their hardworking employees, and yet they still have to pay sales tax. So I look forward to bringing that amendment to the bill and working with you on this. Thank you, Mr. Chair.
Thank you very much. Any other comments? Representative Detmer.
Yeah, thank you, Mr. Chair. I learned how to put my hand up, I guess, but thank you, Representative Baker. This may be a question for Mr. Chair. A bill like this, can this ever be put on a fast track? We know what's going on with that restaurant industry, and I know it's going to be put in an omnibus bill. Can we do something like this on a fast track? That's just my question.
So, well, thank you, Representative Detmer. We are going to be, I know, in tax committee looking at a number of items because we have heard from a number of members and Mr. Wogsland and others from the hospitality industry that we know the hospitality and leisure industry has probably been hit the hardest. And so there's probably a number of things that we're going to be looking at. So, I mean, technically, could it be done? Realistically, if you're going to try to look at how you're going to try to put a package together, that would lend itself for being part of the omnibus bill at the end.
Okay. Thank you, Mr. Chair.
Thank you, Representative Detmer. Representative Baker, anything further you'd like to conclude with?
Just a big thank you, Mr. Chair and members, for listening to our story, and look forward to another visit maybe in the next few weeks. Thank you so much.
Very good. Thank you so much. And Representative Hertaus renews his motion to lay over House File 921 for possible inclusion into the House Tax Omnibus Bill.